What is up, guys? Today we'll be checking out the LG Velvet. This is the refurbished version off of eBay. We're just looking at the phone itself today, and this costs around 400 bucks. I'll put the link down below. And if you want it brand new, it'll cost you, I believe, 588 right now. This is a really cool phone. I've been playing with it for just a little bit, and of course we'll compare it to the other phones and stuff like that. So stay tuned for those videos. Now, the hardware on this phone, it's an aluminum frame and a glass back on here. It looks really good, and as you can see, very reflective. It has a kind of mirror look to it, and also it has like these little sort of color shifts when it hits the light, which is really cool. So it is kind of a fingerprint magnet, so do note that. But going around the hardware, one of my favorite things about this phone is the look. So as you can see, the camera module is very unique. It's kind of got like this descending cameras right here, which looks really cool to me. You don't see a lot of designs like that. And this is a very big phone. If you don't like big phones, this is not going to be the phone for you. Just to give you an idea, it's about as big as the 7 Pro, OnePlus 7 Pro, and a little bit smaller, just a tad bit, but it's basically the same size as the LG V60, just not as thick. But yeah, so it's a big phone. If you don't like big phones, you're not gonna like this phone. But going around the hardware, we have the power button right here. We also have your Google Assistant button, volume rockers. Down below, this phone still has the headphone jack, which is really nice, but you do not have the Hi-Fi quad DAC that we're accustomed to seeing in LG phones. So that is not here. And you have USB Type-C. You actually have stereo speakers on here as well. Now, this phone is IP68 dust and water resistant, which is really nice. So let's talk about the display. You have a POLED 6.8-inch display. It's 1080p, 395 for the PPI. Absolutely beautiful display. We have a little water drop notch here as well, and this display gives off some pretty good colors as well, and it does have a slight kind of curve to it. As you can see, it kind of reminds me of the 7 Pro, but you have the little notch right here, pretty slim bezels. Overall, I was really pleased with the display quality with this phone. The colors and everything look really bright and vibrant, and I absolutely love it. It does not have a high refresh rate. It's only 60 Hertz. I think that would have been the icing on the cake for this phone to see that, but definitely no complaints with the display on here. It's actually a very, very good panel, even though it's not a 1440p. So I know some of you LG fans are accustomed to that, but I'm telling you guys, it looks really good. You can't see pixels or anything like that on this display. So I was really pleased with the quality of this panel. And again, huge display. So whether you're watching content, playing games, you're going to enjoy this display. Just to give you guys an idea, you can see the curve right here. So it's not curved in a way where it's super like an aggressive curve. I don't think it's as bad as OnePlus. It's not as bad with the curve. So if you wanted to know that, which I think the curve is fine, it doesn't really distract from video watching and stuff like that. So I think the display is just really, really good. Let's go ahead and check out the stereo speakers on this guy. You have one up here and one down here. Let's go ahead and max the volume out. So very loud speakers on here as well. And again, you can adjust the sound of these speakers if you want a certain sound with the LG sound engine. You can see it's on audio, but if I want to go to music or voice or cinema, depending on what you're doing, you can do that. So overall, these speakers on here are definitely really loud, have some pretty crisp sound, and you get a pretty good, decent amount of bass on here as well. So alright, so we're running Android 10 with the LG UX 9 skin on top of it, the Snapdragon 765, and Adreno 620, micro SD support, 128 gigs of storage, and 6 gigs of RAM. We also have NFC on board, as well as the fingerprint scanner under the display. And let's go ahead and touch on that real quick, because it's the only way to get into the phone. There's no face unlock, unfortunately, so we put finger down, and it works. It's just like the LG V60, and I've never had a real issue with it. Is it the fastest fingerprint scanner I've ever had? No, you actually have to kind of like press this one all the way down. Some of them you can just tap, but it works 100%. So I don't have any issues with it. And let's talk about just performance with this phone. And as you guys can see, the always on display. As you can see, you can set a picture right here. See your date and time. I always really like to be able to set pictures right there. I think it's really cool. But let's talk about performance. So I did not find this to be like a laggy LG phone like a lot of people complain about. Scrolling and everything, the physics and stuff is fine. You have your Google Now page over here, which I absolutely love. I think all Android phones should have this page. And just go through the toggles for you guys real quick. We have our live caption on here as well, battery saver, comfort view. As you can see, you have your dual screen toggle on here as well. So if you get the dual screen case, you can basically turn this into multitasking beast of a phone. Screen recording, file sharing, screen sharing is on here as well. Let's see what else we got. Nearby sharing, yeah, so that's pretty much it. And yeah, it's a smooth experience, definitely. And just to take you through the menu, looking for, I want to show you our screen color. So if you want to make the screen a little bit more vivid or whatever, you can do that on here. And like I said, it's almost like bare bones Android. So it's not a whole bunch you can do with this, which some people appreciate, some people might not like, but I really like it. I think it keeps everything clean and simple. It's not like a ton of stuff on here to do. Now, I'm going to put out the full gaming test for you guys, but I've been playing games on here and I haven't had any problem. Just to show you, you're on very high for frame rates. And yeah, it plays fine. So if we go to max, obviously we can't max it out with very high graphics and max frame rates, but this is a very good gaming device. And like I said, you have a big, beautiful display on here, which is definitely a really nice thing to have. And I don't notice this phone really getting hot and stuff like that, but again, we're gonna run the gaming test and see how it does. But gaming performance with this chip has been really great. I can't really complain about it. Okay. Alright guys, as we can see, our Geekbench scores right here. We have on the single core, you can see it compared to some other devices, other flagship phones, which is not a flagship phone, it's a mid-ranger, so you have to compare it to some other mid-rangers, but you can see multi-core again, and this would be a better comparison to some of these mid-rangers. So it does actually pretty well against the mid-rangers. But in the real world, this is still a very fast phone. Again, I'll show you guys in the speed test and stuff like that. Alright, so let's talk about the camera. So you have a triple camera setup, 48 megapixel standard, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel depth and 4K video, 30 FPS. You also have 16 megapixel selfie camera at 1080p, 30 FPS. I like the cameras on the Velvet. I think they do a pretty good job with detail, giving you a really good realistic color profile, which is really nice. You do lose a little bit of detail with the ultra wide camera, but that camera is still pretty good as well. And yeah, so I really like the colors on here. You get really nice, vibrant and true to life colors, which is something that's really appreciated. The portrait mode gives you a nice depth of field, which is really nice. You get a lot of detail with that. And yeah, so I was overall pleased with the images on here. Now with this picture of the Leaf, it's kind of weird because I was taking pictures with the V60 and G8 as well, and it sort of lost a ton of detail when you try to focus on it, even if you use portrait. So I think that's something to do with the software with this phone, and I've seen complaints and read them about the software with this camera needs a little bit of work. And now I can see what they were talking about. So you definitely, it definitely needs an update for sure to fix that. I don't think it's the camera itself here. But yeah, overall the cameras were actually pretty good. Also, the selfie camera is pretty good as well. You get pretty good natural skin tones, pretty good detail as well, as you can see with these bright lights hitting me. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the video outdoors and indoors so you guys can hear the mic and everything. Alright guys, here's the video for the Velvet. As you can hear my voice, let me know how the mic sound. You also have different wow. You also have different microphone settings on this camera as well. So you have the bokeh, the ASRM mode on here, which is really nice. A lot of smartphones don't have that, but as you can see, let me know how it looks. Alright guys, this phone has a 4,300 milliamp battery, 25-watt fast charging. You also have your wireless charging as well. So I want to use this phone a little bit more, and also you do have 5G support on this phone, which is really cool. So if you live in a 5G area, you will be able to take advantage of that. But I need to spend a little more time with this phone, but so far it's looking like it's an all-day phone for battery life performance. So far has been really great. I've just been watching the way it drains, and it's draining like a phone that can easily get you through the day, if not a day and a half. Again, if you're on 5G, then it's going to be a completely different story for battery life here. But overall, first impressions of the LG Velvet, I really like it. It's a really nice device, and if you get the dual screen case, it'll turn this into basically two phones. Where you can really go crazy with multitasking and playing video games and stuff like that. So be sure to let me know what you guys think of the Velvet, and I will catch you guys in the next video.